yourself updated about the HR field, HR terms, HR news, HR knowledge, etc. etc. on my YouTube channel Paridhi Trivedi Parikh. Stay tuned on this channel by subscribing the channel and pressing the bell icon. This will help you out to get the notification every time whenever I post any new update regarding to it. Bounded rationality. HR Jargons with me, that is Paridhi Trivedi Parikh. So this is basically a tab HR Talks on my channel on which I am going to talk about HR Jargons, HR News and HR Talks. So today's talk is bounded rationality. It's an HR jargon. Now what is bounded rationality? So many people use this term in the corporate field, and if you get into such kind of an atmosphere and if you don't know what is bounded rationality, then you'll be confused at what they are actually talking about. So let us understand this term today. Bounded rationality. Let's understand its definition first. Bounded rationality is the situation wherein during the decision making process, rationality of individuals is limited by the information that is available to them, the cognitive limitations of their minds and the finite amount of time that they have to make a decision. Bounded rationality is a term which we need to understand, and that we can understand by understanding few more terms like decision making process, rationality, cognitive limitations and finite amount of time. We need to understand these phrases or words nicely. Then and then only we can understand what exactly bounded rationality is. Now, once again, bounded rationality is the situation. This is one kind of a situation, that means wherein the during decision making process, means when we are about to make decision, during that process, rationality of the individual. Rationality means the logical thought process of an individual who is actually making the decision, which is limited. Rationality of the person who is making the decision is limited by the information. So whatever information a person is having, by using that information in his own way, in his own logic, he or she is making the decision. So that is basically limited information that a person is having, which is being source of making any decision that is available to them. The cognitive limitation of their minds, the cognitive limitation, cognitive in the sense whatever logical things a brain can think, whatever a brain can understand by a specific thing. See, there is a quote, there are no facts, there are only interpretations. In the sense, X thing, if at all X thing happens, I take it in some other way and you can take it in some other way. That is all about cognitive limitations. I think it in different way and you can take it in different way. That is cognitive limitations of the mind. That means an information can be comprehended by their own terms, by their own understanding, by an individual's own understanding, by an individual's own capability to comprehend something. Comprehensions differ. That is the cognitive limitations of anybody's mind. And the finite amount of time. That is, we don't have a lot of time for making any single decision. We have some deadlines to follow. We have some specific time to follow. So during that time period, we have to choose the best thing, whichever we can go for. So once again, bounded rationality talks about decision making process, rationality of individuals, cognitive limitations, and these three things are actually the basis of bounded rationality. Once again, let us focus. Bounded rationality is the situation wherein during the process of making decision, rationality of individuals is limited by information that is available to them, the cognitive limitations of their mind, and the finite amount of time that they are having to make any decision. Now I am very sure that you are able to understand the words that are written on the screen after the discussion that we had just now. Now decision makers have to work under three unavoidable constraints. Why these all things are difficult? Why decisions can't be rational all the time? Why there is bounded rationality kind of term? Why it is existent? Why we have to think about bounded rationality? So there are three major constraints that everybody, each and everybody is under who are about to make the decision. That is first, limited information which is reliable or unreliable, which is available to the person. In the sense, you have to make decision on certain thing and you have some information available. Quite possibly that information can be reliable or unreliable. That information can be right or wrong, but that is what is the information with you. And you are going to make the decision on the basis of that information. So we can't say that you will be able to make the rational decision always, because you don't know the source of information is reliable or unreliable. According to you it is reliable, it may be unreliable. Second, limited capacity to evaluate and process the information available. That is the cognitive ability. In the sense, you are going to take a decision, but you can or cannot take the rational decision because of the capability to evaluate the process and the information available. You can see information in other way and information might be on some other way. It might be on some other ground. So basically it is up to your cognitive ability that how do you evaluate and process the information which is available to you. So first point is information may be available or may not be available which is having strong background, and if at all information is available, how do you process it, how do you evaluate, that completely depends on your ability to understand, your ability to comprehend. And third is you don't have infinite time to decide anything, you have deadlines to meet. So in limited amount of time with limited information available and with the limited capacity to evaluate, when you are making a decision, it cannot be completely rational always. It will be basically with bounded rationality. Matlab, there has to be some gray areas what we need to work upon. Therefore, because of all these reasons, rational individuals also end up having satisficing choices rather than maximizing or optimizing in complex situations. Satisficing choices in the sense you should be satisfied or minimal criteria should be fulfilled in a way in your decision, rather than it should be optimum or it should be maximum result that you are getting out of your decision. This limits, in the sense that this bounds the rationality. This phenomenon makes the rational decision nearly impossible as it can cover every contingencies. Now, last but not the least, the person behind this term, the person behind this concept is a person who gave the term bounded rationality, and he is Herbert Simon. If you really like this video and if you found it interesting, press the like button on YouTube, subscribe this channel for regular updates, and do not forget to press bell icon so that you can get notifications every time whenever I post any new videos regarding PhD. Stay tuned with me, and thanks for watching HR Jargons with Paridhi Trivedi Parikh on HR Talk. Thank you so very much.